The umpiring crew here tonight. Toronto Blue Jays and Tampa Bay Rays ready to go at it. Game 2 of the series. And their first series of the season, considering they are AL East rivals. It appears to be a little late. But better than never, Joe Maddon and his team, during a current 6-game win streak, they are hitting the ball some, including a lot of power as we saw last night. B.J. Upton leads off. Carl Crawford, an 8-game win streak. Look at the numbers over that streak. Willie Aybar at third base tonight will bat third. Carlos Pena with 23 home runs to clean up. Ben Zobrist, super utility guy, at second base tonight. No Evan Longoria. Pat Burrell at DH. Gabe Gross, the former Blue Jay, almost 400 over the last few weeks. Jason Bartlett and Deoner Navarro behind the plate.
You know, the thing about that Tampa Bay Ray team is they've got great balance. They've got great speed. They've got great power. They can beat you in a lot of different ways offensively. That will be the job of Scott Richmond as he makes his 13th start of the season and is searching for his 3rd win in as many starts. He won his last time out, giving up just 2 runs over 7 strong innings against the Reds as the Jays beat Cincinnati 8-2. His only loss in his last 4 appearances was that relief outing that he was talking about when he had to come into the game in the 12th inning against Washington and gave up a 2-run home run. So he has been very good. Catching him tonight will be Raul Chavez, as Rob Barajas was back in the lineup yesterday. Gets the day off tonight. The scouting report for Toronto's starter, he's working downhill. That's one thing that I've noticed. He's really stayed on top, and he's really powering that fastball down in the lower part of the strike zone. He's got the 4-pack worth of pitching. Fastball, the slider, the curveball, and the changeup. And he really has been in control over his last 2 starts. We talked about it already. 3 walks in the 15 innings. So when you're throwing good quality pitches, good quality strikes, good things are going to happen.
Last July, the 30th, made his major league debut against these Tampa Bay Rays. Took the loss going 5 1/3. Here is who's behind him tonight.
Alex Rios back in the lineup, out in right field. Here's the infield that has been so good on this homestand. Overbay, Hill, Scudero, and Roland. And there's Chavez making the start, and he will catch Scott Richmond here tonight.
B.J. Upton leads off for the Rays. First pitch swinging, and this one is tagged deep and gone. Yikes.
How about that for a dimension that a guy with that kind of power can lead off of a ball game? First pitch swinging. He must have looked at the scouting reports and said Scott Richmond likes to go with the fastball first pitch. That is a home run number 7 for B.J. Upton. Now 7 RBIs in his last 5 games out of that leadoff spot.
Well, we saw some of that prodigious pop last year in the postseason for the Rays. Led the team with 7 home runs. Now Carl Crawford, who homered off of Roy Halladay, and Scott Richmond now tries to bring that pulse down.
These 2 guys at the top of the lineup are so dynamic. They have now scored 106 runs between them. Just about a quarter of the runs that the Tampa Bay Rays have scored this year. They lead the American League in run score with 439 now. And it usually starts with these 2, Upton and Crawford, this year.
14 home runs between them, 69 stolen bases between them. Matt Garza already has a lead.
Well, he gives you power. He caught a curveball from Roy Halladay for the home run. 2-run home run, and he's also got great speed. He stole his 40th base. The most that he has stolen before the All-Star break this year.
But just now going down on strikes. So Scott Richmond settles back, and after giving up the leadoff home run, B.J. Upton, he strikes out Carl Crawford.
He's got a good curveball. That is the pitch that got him those 11 strikeouts in Philadelphia a few starts ago. And he picks up his first one on a breaking ball against Carl Crawford.
Now Willie Aybar. Versatile infielder. Last night was at second base in the number 3 hole, usually occupied by Evan Longoria, who gets the night off tonight. Longoria has been bothered lately by a bit of a hamstring pull, but he's been back and forth in the lineup.
Joe Maddon has made it his wish to get Aybar into this series here. He was telling us yesterday that he wanted to get Willie Aybar some playing time. Before yesterday, Aybar had only started once since June the 11th, and he knows that he's got to use this whole team to keep them sharp. So Aybar yesterday at second base. Today, he'll play at third base. Maddon does such a good job of using his whole roster, getting everybody in and feeling that they are contributing to a winning team.
Bit of a teetotaler as well. The dugout, Joe Maddon. Spot of tea during the game. 3 balls and a strike. High fly ball. Vernon Wells has out number 2. And brings up Carlos Pena. Talk about power. Have to be careful with him. 23 home runs. By the way, B.J. Upton, that was the Rays' 39th home run in the month of June. That's the most they've ever hit in any month of any season.
They had 38 in August of 2005 and 38 in August of 2008. They just keep setting records this June. They've just gotten off to a great start here and had a great month of June. Really building on what they did in interleague play. They had the 3rd best record in interleague at 13-5, and they have come rolling into Toronto looking like a very confident ball club.
Rolled over and the shift on. Aaron Hill from shallow right. But B.J. Upton with his 2nd career leadoff home run on the very first pitch of the game gives the Rays a 1-0 lead. Rios back in the lineup tonight. Good numbers for Lind in June. Rios had the night off last night. And Raul Chavez, number 9 hitter behind the plate for the Blue Jays tonight.
Pay no attention to the record that Matt Garza has. It's only a .500 record, but he has an excellent ERA of 3.61. He'll be looking for consecutive wins after beating the Phillies. In his last start, that was a strong outing, allowing a run over 8 innings. He has had a lot of success against the Jays in his short career with 3 wins and 6 starts and an ERA under 2, Blackie. He has been really, really tough against the Jays.
Blue Jays. Big trouble last year against him, as you mentioned. Marco Scutaro to lead off here. First pitch swinging, trying to pull an Upton.
Well, he's capable of doing that for sure. Marco homered the other day. He's been in a little bit of a funk of late. That on-base percentage now under 400. It's been over 400 for most of the year.
One is sliced down the right field line and into the seats.
With Matt Garza, I think you have to be ready. He said in his last start, I got back to what I've been doing and talking about, being aggressive. He's got a nice smooth delivery. His fastball can be very overpowering at 92 or 97 miles an hour, and he's got strong secondary pitches, the curveball, the slider, and a much improved changeup. Again, he got back to throwing the heater and saying to the batter, hey, beat me with this, beat me with my fastball. Look at those numbers here at Rogers Center. 1 and 2 with an ERA of under 1. I know he's matched up a couple of times against Roy Halladay. He also had a 25 consecutive inning scoreless streak against the Jays last year.
Ball and 2 strikes to Scudero. Trying to get him to nibble outside. Garza, of course, the former Minnesota Twin. Came over to Tampa Bay and last year clinched the ALCS for the Rays. Got his team to the World Series.
Yeah, one of the youngest pitchers ever to do that. Under 25 years old to be able to do that.
So now Scudero goes from 0-2 to full count. K-Rod, one of those. Andy Pettit.
Yeah.
Roger Clemens. Some select company for Matt Garza. The 3-2. Hit hard to the gap. But under it is B.J. Upton. You talk about tracking one down. B.J. Upton had a bead on it, and with that speed was able to get there.
Yeah, lots of speed and good athletes in the outfield. They have 10 outfield assists, the 3 guys who start for Tampa tonight. Crawford in left field, Upton in center, and Gabe Gross. So good arms also. The infield, Willie Aybar for Kevin Longoria at third base. Bartlett and Zobrist back in the lineup up the middle, and Deanna Navarro will catch Matt Garza.
Here's Aaron Hill. For last night. 2 days ago. Had his first multi-home run effort. Hit home runs number 18 and 19. That's a new record for second baseman. Blue Jay history.
You know, in the All-Star game, manager happens to be right here, Joe Madden. And he has said that he is watching some players that might have to be added to the list. Some of the guys and some of the stats that he has looked at: Tim Wakefield, Edwin Jackson of Detroit, Aaron Hill and Adam Lind of Toronto are on the radar for the manager as they get to pick that extra players for the All-Star game.
Went around there for strike 3. Brings up Vernon Wells. One for 4 last night. The average just 248. 7 home runs, 36 RBIs. Some guys would be elated with 7 home runs at this stage of the season, but I know Vernon Wells is not. Seems every time he kind of turns the corner on what has been a season of struggle at the plate. appears to be a longer corner to turn.
Yeah, you feel like he's just coming out of it, and then other pitchers come in and pitch him tough. That time right on the hands, and Aybar over to first. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Matt Garza. Good strong inning for the right-hander.
And Ben Zobrist, the super utility man at second base tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays. 16 home runs, 45 RBIs, and 8 home runs in the month of June.
Yeah, he is certainly having a career year. You know, he leads the American League in slugging percentage. .622. He has started the previous 32 games heading into yesterday's game, and Joe Maddon felt that he was maybe wearing down a little bit and a chance to get Willie Aybar into the start. He entered Monday's game with just 6 hits in his past 40 at bats, and his average has dropped down to .287. But power, you are right, 16 home runs.
Bill Miller down the line tonight. Mike Estabrook behind the plate. Adrian Johnson down the first base line. And crew chief Jim Joyce at second base. And he lost him. 1-0 Rays on the B.J. Upton home run to lead off the game on the very first pitch. And now Pat Burrell, who last night homered off of Roy Halladay. Actually homered off of Jeremy Accardo. Roy Halladay's gave up the home run to Carl Crawford, a 2-0 game. And then Burrell came in and homered off of Jeremy Accardo. Solo shot, his third of the season.
You'll see those power numbers start to creep up now that he's healthy. At least 70 RBIs since 2001, every year since 2001. That's what they were looking for, someone to knock in some runs from the right side when they went out and signed him this past winter.
Huge numbers for Pat Burrell over the last 4 years with the Phillies. Of course, became a world champion, averaged 31 home runs, 99 RBIs, and 103 walks. Monster numbers. Time called.
You know, when the Rays go out to try and scout the type of players they want good clubhouse presence, but they also want guys who fit into their system. And those numbers that you were just talking about with Pat Burrell, about the home runs, the RBIs, and the walks, really fit into what the Rays are all about offensively. They've got plenty of speed. Now they need a guy who can hit the ball out of the ballpark. So they went out and gave him a big contract.
Watching Zobrist at first. Ball and a strike. Biggest thing about Pat Burrell, 32 years old, is his durability over those last 4 years.
Yeah, that's not without the DH. Remember, he was playing left field for Philadelphia. Now as the designated hitter, he should be just fine. Average about 155 games a year. That over the last 4 years.
Chavez scans the dugout. 3 balls and a strike now. Hitters count to a dangerous hitter. Down the pipe. 3 balls, 2 strikes again. Gabe Gross on deck, followed by Jason Bartlett here in the top half of the 2nd inning. Whoa. Misses and back-to-back walks.
Yeah, and he can ask where that pitch was. It looked like he got it by Burrell right on the inner half. Good job by Chavez to frame it right there, but it's called a ball.
Looks like it's going to be a tight strike zone tonight.
Yeah, one of the things that Richmond did in those 2 starts that we talked about in the opening is his pace and his rhythm was very good. He was getting the ball, he was working quickly, he was throwing strikes. In the 2nd inning here, it seems like he's really slowed everything down. This would be a good time to get that ball work just a little bit quicker, get into a good rhythm here.
Turns and fires and got him. They pick off Zobrist at second.
Well, that'll certainly help. You saw that one coming a mile away. That's the daylight play by the shortstop when he just creeps in right behind that runner and then flashes that glove. The pitcher turns and fires right to the bag, and Zobrist has no chance at getting back. Good quick tag by Scutaro, gets the out.
The left-hander, Gabe Gross. The former Jay on the first pitch again, raking, and it's foul.
Splitting some time in the outfield with Gabe Kapler. They have put up some good numbers. Look at that on-base percentage. All these Tampa Bay Rays on-base percentage is up there right around in the high 3s or right around 4.
High in the sky again and fouled away. This Tampa Bay team a year ago, the best average on the team, best hitting average, was Akinori Imamura, 274. He was 40th in the American League. Not too often you have a team with that average like that and no one hitting near or above 300, and you get to the World Series. On base percentage was everything, and down goes Gabe Gross.
Certainly hard to believe that their leading hitter just hit 274 last year. Shows you that they made their hits count as Richmond picks up his second strikeout of the night. This one a high breaking ball that hangs up in the zone, kind of a half swing by Gross. I think he was fooled on that backup slider. But they hit with power. They played great defense and they got great pitching last year. So the offense struggled a little bit, but it was still good enough to get them to the World Series.
Jason Bartlett deposits one down the line. And Pat Burrell goes to third base. So 2 out, 2 runners in scoring position.
And that pickoff looms pretty large right now. Ben Zobrist just cost him a run by getting picked off by Scudero and Richmond. Bartlett has really put this part of his game together this year. We know he can run. We know he can field. Now the stick is starting to come around. High fastball, he rips it into the corner for extra bases.
And the catcher, the number 9 hitter, Deoner Navarro. I'd say Jason Bartlett's hot. He's hit safely, Tabby, in 23 of his last 24, 29 of his last 31, and had a 19-game hit streak in the middle of all that.
That's some nice production, isn't it, down at the bottom of the order? You got somebody like Bartlett and Navarro. Navarro, an all-star last year. That average will come up. Just over 200 right now. He'll get some pitches to hit. The Rays have been hitting. They have won 14 out of 18, and in that time, their team batting average is up over 300.
Two-strike foul ball.
So the Jays are catching them at a wrong time right now. It seems like they're getting their pitching together, their starting pitching. Their hitting is coming together.
They're getting healthy. Pitchers are coming back, and their bullpen has been lights out.
Yeah, the bullpen has been really good.
Scott Richmond trying to end it here. 2 on, 2 away, 1-0 Tampa. Burrell and Bartlett in scoring position. Chavez will come out and chat with Scott Richmond.
You know, talking about how well they have been playing offensively, pitching, and everything else, not surprising since April the 30th, it's the Tampa Bay Rays who have the best record at 35-21 in the American League, and they have leapfrogged a couple of teams, and they're really bearing down on the Yankees and now the Red Sox. And I think when all is said and done, we're going to be hearing from the Rays over the next couple of months.
0-2 again, got him. Third strikeout could not have come at a better time, and boy, that pickoff looms large. pregame family entertainment tomorrow. Rays and Jays at 1 o'clock. Face painting, pitching cage, much, much more. Fergie Jenkins, a Hall of Famer, will be here to throw out the opening pitch. Fireworks after the game. Spend it here at Rogers Center. If you're in downtown Toronto, Jays and Rays. What a way to spend Canada Day. Scott Rowland. A hot-hitting Scott Rowland to face Matt Garza here in the bottom half of the second inning. 1-0 Tampa. Rowland on a 17-game hit streak.
Rowland hasn't wasted any time the last couple of games keeping that hitting streak alive. He got a hit his first time up in yesterday's game. Did it the game before that. Had an excellent round of batting practice today. We were watching him just launch about 3 or 4 balls into the second deck here. You know a guy's locked in when he has good rounds like that.
You know Garza knows that as well, the hit streak. All-time Blue Jay hit streak, 28 games, set by Sean Green back in 1999. So Rowland has some to go yet.
Very patient. Garza will challenge you with a fastball. He wants to be aggressive. He felt that's what the key was for him in his last start against Philadelphia when he pitched a great game.
The 3-1 fouled off.
Well, if you want to put where Scott Rowland into perspective this year in the American League East Division, Jacoby Ellsbury had a 22-gamer earlier this year. Bartlett with a 19. Rowland's next hit will tie him with Robinson Cano for the third longest in the AL East this year.
And guess what? 18 and counting.
You know, no mystery. In the first at bat, he does it again. Get it away out early.
This is what he was doing earlier.
Watch how short his swing is. There's hardly any movement in his lower half. He's staying right over the ball. He's really using his hands. And I just thought he had a great session. About 3 or 4 of them landed in the second deck here. And he starts this game off with a nice base hit the other way.
And Adam Lind now with Rowland at first. Rowland also stole a base last night after his double. Rowland, by the way, now joins Damaso Garcia in 1986 and Tony Fernandez in 87 and Jose Cruz Jr. in 1998. Other Blue Jays in history who have hit for 18 in a row. You see a guy get in his zone, and we've seen Ichiro do that before. We've seen others taking it into the 20s, close to 30 at times. You really appreciate what Joe DiMaggio did.
Well, how hard it is just to get to 20. Good for Scott Rowland to get it that first at bat of the game, get it out of the way early. So that's something that's not playing on your mind as the game goes along.
Could you imagine, though, 56 games?
No.
Then I think after the streak ended at 56, he still went on a tear again.
Yeah, I think he went on something like 18 or 19 more or something like that. Got a chance to watch Pete Rose hit it 44 straight, which was incredible. So, you know, the last couple of days have talked about how hard it is to hit, that it's a game where you're successful 3 out of 10 times. What about the other 7 times? I mean, it's so difficult to hit, and then you have to be so consistent. night in and night out to get that one hit. And you remember, there are 8 other guys out there trying to keep you from getting that hit.
Cito had something interesting to say the other day, too, about batting practice in BP, and that he's not entirely all for BP. He understands what it's for, but he says, the pitches aren't the same speed. It's really more of a show for the guys. It's a chance to get warmed up.
Get warmed up is the best way to describe it. Maybe get your eye down a little bit. Here, that ball's going to drop for Adam Lind.
Rolling, going to third. Better get down. He does. Adam Lind moves Scott Rowland to third, and runners at the corners, and the Blue Jays got something going here in the second.
If you want to be a good base runner, you've got to know where the outfielder are playing. You have to know where the ball is hit, how hard the ball is hit, and then you have to read it off the bat. Rowland right away reads that this ball is going to be down from Adam Lind. If he hesitates just a little bit, you're not going to go to third base on Gabe Gross. He's got such a good, accurate arm. But he read it right away. He read how Gross was moving to his right to go get that base hit. He takes the extra base. So good base running there by Rowland. Gross has a couple of outfield assists. Not that time.
Lyle Overbay. Overbay's 0 for his last 9. He was running hot a while ago. Captured an American League Player of the Week award about a month ago. Just early in June. And Overbay streaking himself earlier, 15-game hit streak. Up the middle. Nice play. Double play. But a run scores.
Yeah, they will trade the run for the double play. What a nifty little play. First by Zobrist, the second baseman on the back hop. He knows he can't get in front of the ball because it was hit so hard by Overbay. He's got to backhand it. And then in one motion flips it to Bartlett with the quick feet, the quick hands, and the accurate throw. No RBI for Lyle Overbay, but the Jays are on the board.
Alex Rios, night off last night. In the middle of a miserable slide. 7 hits over his last 43 at-bats. 0 for his last 7. I'm sure right now trying anything to get the mojo back.
Sometimes it's just maybe a little jam shot, or a broken back single where you just kind of feel good about yourself. You feel like you got a base hit, and then all of a sudden it just comes back. That's the thing about hitting. It can come one day and be gone the next. You can't understand it.
This ball gets down, and it's a base hit for Rios. That was a good swing from Alex Rios.
Yeah, he stayed back. He really didn't commit himself. He didn't go out and get the ball. He let the ball come to him. It's called letting the ball get a little deep on him. And he stayed over the top of that one. Ball hit hard to right center field. Gene Tena's the hitting coach for the Toronto Blue Jays like that. Likes to see his big right fielder start to produce.
Well, they moved Rios down in the order and moved Vernon Wells up from 4 to 3, trying to get the 2 guys who used to be in the heart of the order going. And the most pop has been provided from the top of the order, and also when Scott Rowland moved into the cleanup role. Adam Lind, of course, has provided pop. Russ Adams, sky high fly ball. B.J. Upton to end the inning. Blue Jays with 3 base hits off of Matt Garza. Scott Rowland scores to keep his hit streak alive. Double. The Rays could not score, and now B.J. Upton, will he go after that first pitch again?
Don't throw him a fastball. A little bit of a cutter. Good idea right there.
Wiry guy. Boy, he uses his power economically. He's got some pop in that bat.
Yeah, 20 home runs a couple of years ago. Not as many last year. Really battled a shoulder problem all year long last year.
Made up for it in the postseason, though, didn't he?
Didn't he ever? Had a huge postseason. This is what he did in the first inning. First pitch, fastball, goes out and gets it. Starts right into his home run trot, gets the Rays off to a good start.
Alex Rios at the warning track. That was the other way. Got the end of the bat there. '24-year-old. Former first-round pick. Now Carl Crawford struck out in the first. We talked about it last night, though. This team hits for power, steals a lot of bases. Fastest team in modern Major League history to reach 100 home runs and 100 steals in a season.
Before the All-Star break. Boy, they can come up with some numbers, can't they?
Oh, yeah.
Just makes it so tough. You know, Crawford's another one. He leads the team in infield hits also. He leads in steals. 40 stolen bases already.
High fly ball, right field, and wave it goodbye. Another one, back-to-back nights. Carl Crawford makes it look easy.
He now has a 9-game hit streak after taking Scott Richmond deep. Looked like another breaking ball. Boy, he has really stayed down on those curveballs and driven right through them. First against Halladay last night, and now against Scott Richmond. Watch him kind of double clutch, stay back. Breaking ball down and in. And that is a danger zone to left-handed hitters. That's where they like it, where they can just drop the head of the bat on it.
Well, the power has been shown already tonight. 2 home runs, 2-1 lead. Willie Aybar, fly ball to center field in the first. 1 away here in the third. Lyle Overbay, the backhand into Richmond for out 2.
Nice little play right there by Overbay. The infield tonight just has 12 errors between them. That's the 4 infielders that start. Overbay has not committed an error this year. Playing some Gold Glove first base. Gets off to a good start here. Gets himself ready, gets that ball, makes a nice throw to Richmond to complete a nice out.
Carlos Pena grounded out to Aaron Hill to end the first inning. As the Blue Jays have found out, though, and many other teams, especially in the month of June, you can't make any mistakes pitching to these guys.
If you do, you know where it's going to end up. 40 home runs now they've hit this month.
One of the many first-round draft picks, former first-round draft picks. Carlos Pena in the Tampa Bay lineup. Not selected by Tampa, but Texas. Back in '98, the Rays have also had a number of first-round picks, and that's from all those years of suffering. The 1-2.
Spent some time with Boston, and I believe they released him. The Yankees had Carlos Pena and got rid of him a few years ago. Went to spring training last year as a non-roster guy. Didn't even make the team out of camp a few years ago and turned into a huge power hitter. Pena can only watch as Richmond picks up his 4th strikeout, but another home run by the Rays have restored the lead by 1. This time it's Carl Crawford.
Raul Chavez leads off, the number 9 hitter for the Blue Jays, who once again find themselves down by a run here. B.J. Upton and Carl Crawford, 1-2 in the lineup, both with solo shots off of Scott Richmond tonight. Eyes wide open for Chavez over the last week or so, probably expecting to play a lot more with the injury to Rod Barajas. Some thought perhaps that Barajas would go on the disabled list. Will not, but Chavez getting more playing time.
No secret that he's not 100% as that ball's hit hard by Chavez. So we'll probably see him a little bit more as Bartlett one hops it over to first base. That's a design play so you don't overthrow the first baseman. He knows who's running. Ball's hit hard. He's got plenty of time. He doesn't want to airmail it, so he throws it on one bounce to Pena. That's an easier play for a first baseman to dig it like that. Good play by Bartlett. And the Gold Glover over there, Carlos Pena, who didn't make an error all of last year.
Marco Scudero. Fly all over. Bay continues the way he's going. Have to get some consideration. So does this guy have to get consideration for a Gold Glove at shortstop.
Yeah, he's not spectacular, although he has made spectacular plays, but he has just been steady. He has caught the ball. He's made just one error this year.
Kind of like the All-Star voting, though. Sometimes by geography and the fact the Blue Jays in the division they are in may not get the recognition or respect perhaps that sometimes, as Scudero has done this season.
Yeah, they're not going to be on, quote, national television as much as you see some of those bigger teams in the bigger markets. As they certainly, Blue Jays, I've counted 4, maybe 5 guys who have really a right to think about going to the All-Star game. Scudero, Lind, Hill, Rowland, and Halladay. They have had tremendous first halves.
Down the middle for strike one, 3 balls and a strike, and that's the first time we could sit here and say that about a Blue Jay team with that many players. Hasn't been like that the last couple of years.
Well, if you want to get noticed, you have to put up crazy numbers. We've seen that from Scott Rowland, second in the American League in batting behind Ichiro. He's up over 330. Halladay leading in pretty much everything pitching wise. Hill, 19 home runs already. That's the most of a second baseman. Lind way up there in total bases.
I'll do some pitching here. Tell the fans to go out and vote then. Come on.
Hey, well then get out there and vote for your favorite Jay. Fans are allowed to vote up a maximum of 25 times via the email address. Vote early and often. Just go to bluejays.com. Voting ends
Thursday. So you better get on that computer right now. Press send. Press send. Click and send. Aaron Hill. Which is okay. I still don't like the fact that you can vote up to 25 times. Why doesn't one vote just count?
Just
I don't
one?
get that. It's one vote.
Well, talking about numbers, here are the numbers for Aaron Hill this year. Those are the AO ranks, not the ranks as a second baseman. The AO ranks, high for third with 19 home runs, second behind Ichiro in hits with 102. Total bases, 171. I love that bottom one, 31 multi-hit games. That means you are consistent. You're having great days and great at-bats.
Not that little scruff going on his chin we were talking about yesterday.
He was thinking about shaving it the other day.
And then Barajas was all over him. Says, don't get rid of the fuzz. Scudero at first, and Aaron Hill drives one out to left field. And with one away here in the third, the Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position and 2 on.
Sometimes the best pitch to hit is the one right after there is a meeting on the mound from the pitching coach. Probably saying, hey, let's get ahead of them right now. Let's go attack the strike zone. It's a fastball right down the middle. Garza's lucky that that ball didn't land in the seats.
Vernon Wells, 1 for his last 16.
One of the things that the Jays have done over the last few weeks is the home runs have been coming back. They have hit 33 home runs in their last 22 games. Great spot here to get a home run.
What do you make of those low numbers from Vernon Wells and Alex Rios here at Rogers Center?
I just can't.
Any rhyme or reason to it?
I just can't. Usually at home, that's where you really turn it on. You're in familiar surroundings. You can take more batting practice. You can come out early and hit on the field. You can do anything. But I do not have any rhyme or reason why those numbers are not very good here at Rogers Center.
Could it be because they're pressing so much?
You press when you really care. So if that's true, then I can see it as well as holds up on that inside fastball. But you got to block all of that out of your mind. You just got to concentrate on that baseball.
Inside pitch again. Well, especially due to the fact that Rios and Wells last year tore it up in June. Rios hit 320, Wells near 300 in June. Not this June. Foul away on the 2-2 pitch.
This is when Garza gets pretty tough. 86 strikeouts, which places him 8th in the American League. He's got that overhand curveball that he can use for a strikeout pitch, or he can try and run the fastball in on Vernon, which he did last time to get the ground ball out.
Now works him to a full count. Two on, one away. 3-2. Pops straight up in the air. Upton, who covers a lot of ground. He takes balls away from the other outfielders sometimes.
Yeah, and quickly. Well, he's got the priority out there in center field. He can call off anybody. He plays a rather shallow center field also, but he gets a good break and he covers a lot of ground. Doesn't look like he's running very hard, but look at the ground he's covered. He makes that play look easy. You see him yelling, "I got it, I got it."
Last night we saw a couple of communication problems out there with Upton and the middle infielders. Gabe Gross also. Willie Aybar. Scott Rowland now. Can't think of a better guy for the Blue Jays to be up in this situation the way he's been swinging the bat. Jays down by a run. Scutaro in scoring position at second. Rowland got under it and hooked it. Just didn't get the barrel of the bat on it. Boy, pictures worth 1,000 words.
Cito was saying after the game that those two have to start hitting. The offense has to carry this team. With the problems that they have had and the injuries that they've had to the pitching staff, that the offense has to carry the team, and those guys have to help.
You think? Massive understatement, isn't it?
Yep.
Go figure, though. And again, we've talked about it many times about how this game can be so cruel and so magical at the same time for so many players.
But you got to hope over 162 games that the numbers will even themselves out.
Bartlett makes the play to second, and the Blue Jays come away with nothing. Strand 2 and a runner in scoring position. 2-1 after 3, Tampa Bay. Some soldier down there. Likely not going anywhere. But there was a trade made today. Montreal Canadiens acquired Scott Gomez, 2 minor leaguers from the Rangers, for Chris Higgins. A lot of deals on the back burner in hockey. I know you're not a hockey guy. That's
free agency starts?
Free agency begins. Ben Zobrist begins this inning. 2-0 pitch. Foul territory. Zobrist, Pat Burrell, Gabe Gross. Blue Jays have actually out-hit the Rays tonight, but not out-slugged them. And there's another base hit to lead off an inning here by Zobrist, the super utility guy.
What a year he is having. Playing a bunch of positions, helping out that team when there are injuries. He's become an everyday guy now with the injury to Uemura at second base.
Burrow walked in the second inning. Stranded at third base as Richmond got himself out of a jam. In the infield, Scott Rowland. Talked about Ben Zobrist over at first base being that super utility guy. Marco Scutaro was kind of like that for the Blue Jays last year. Played a number of positions, and so has the guy they called Zorilla because of his hitting prowess, but also what he has to do with the gloves.
Yeah, he's had to have so many different gloves. You've got an infield glove, You've got an outfield glove. You got a first baseman's glove. Look at all the different positions that he has played in his career. And the bat has really come around. Since he hit a home run, I believe it was off of A.J. Burnett, he has really taken off. And Joe Madden was telling us last year that he's been such a big part of the team. Just that threat of that power. Biggest surprise on their team last year.
So for the uninitiated, again, the trapper is there. He hasn't had to use it, but he has it because he knows he probably get called upon the first baseman glove at some point.
The trapper.
Yeah, remember that? Aaron Hill, nice play, turns, and another one for the highlight reel.
Well, the first thing, you got to get to the ball. And Aaron Hill has flashed some big range this year. He gets to it, catches it, rolls a couple of times on the turf, and then knows he has to hurry to get the runner at first base. Gross, another great play by Hill at second.
Jason Bartlett. Zobrist at second base. Bartlett with a double in the second inning. Yeah, again, for some people might wonder why all of those gloves, but there's a reason that you have to wear a certain glove. The infielders obviously with smaller gloves.
Well, yeah, you want the smaller glove if you play in the middle of the infield because you're transferring the ball and you got to be quick with your hands. A little bit bigger glove at third base with Roland. Obviously the catcher with the big glove to absorb a lot of the padding. When that fastball comes in at first base, you want something that you can catch. And it's got a little bit longer, a little bit bigger web. Just tough for a player to carry all those gloves around with you every day.
Well, he's not carrying them though.
His bag is.
Yeah,
he's got a pack.
Yeah, that's it. In the minors, maybe, huh?
You got to break in all those gloves.
Yeah, you do.
Usually, an everyday player just has to break in one. He's got to break in four.
Scudero, who was that super utility guy last year and the full-time shortstop now, makes out number 3, stranding Zobrist at second, 2-1 after 3.5. Canada Day tomorrow. Jays and Rays tomorrow. 1 o'clock, 1:07 first pitch. Fireworks after the game tomorrow. They'll close the lid if it's open, and they'll have fireworks indoors. Come on down to the ballpark. Great way to spend Canada Day with the Jays and the Rays. Game 2 of the series between these two. 2-1 Tampa Bay. Bottom of the 4th, Adam Lind, who had a base hit back in the second inning. leading off, followed by Lyle Overbay and Alex Rios. Lind, into that first baseman glove. Carlos Pena on the line drive.
Lefty's hitting just 190 against Matt Garza, but Adam Lind singled his first time up and comes this close to coming up with his second hit against Matt Garza. That ball was stung by Lind. You know what whip is, right? That's the new number that a lot of fantasy teams talk about. Walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. Matt Garza's is really good. 1.16, which is tied for 8th in the American League. You know who he's tied with? Scott Richmond. So that means he's averaging about a walk or a hit every inning, which is still really good. He makes up for his walks or his base hits by striking out a lot of guys. Richmond doesn't walk a whole lot of people.
Garza tonight just one walk. He's given up 4 Blue Jay hits. Here's the North Vancouver native, Scott Richmond. So here comes Alex Rios. Base hit in the second inning. And as good as June was a year ago for Rios and Wells, they will be happy to turn the page on the calendar tomorrow or later tonight. And you never know, you could turn it around so quickly. Streakiest guy we saw around here, Carlos Delgado.
Wow. You are not kidding. He could go a week and hit 5 or 6 home runs. Just come in big time bunches. Vernon Wells is a lot like that. You just got to get it. You know, you got to find it. Rios can be that type of player. He's got 9 home runs and 37 driven in.
Bartlett, backhand, another one hopper, and makes the play. Another 1-2-3 for Matt Garza. Good D again from Bartlett. 2-1 through 4 at Rogers Center tonight on TSN. rivals over the next week and a half leading up to the All-Star break. Time is now. Try to stay in the race, something they haven't been able to do in the last few seasons.
You know, if they are, Blackie, the offense, I think, has got to come through and start getting some big base hits. Saturday they got shut out, 5 hits. Sunday not much better, and then yesterday they could just get 1 run.
And Roy Halladay going last night gave up 2 runs. Back off the disabled list, they provided no support for him and consequently lost that ball game. So you got to start doing it. They were doing it early in the year.
Right. We talked about that earlier, that the home runs have come back. They're getting guys on. They're just not knocking them in. They're not coming up with the big base hit. Something that they did earlier this year. April and May, big hit after big hit after big hit in the game. It was the Jays, that confidence just kind of just seemed like, hey, even if it's close heading in the later innings, we're going to find a way to win the game. Haven't had that feeling for a couple of weeks. Wow.
And Deoner Navarro walks. 3rd walk issued tonight. Well, the Blue Jays and their hot bats have been taken over by the Tampa Bay Rays in this month. B.J. Upton began this ball game, if you're just joining us, on the first pitch. Went deep and out. 7th home run of the season. Carl Crawford added a home run in the 3rd, and that's where we are, 2-1. You know, we get a chance to watch batting practice every day here, and you are amazed by the bat speed on some of these Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
The torque.
You know, that is where good hitters, I think, where it comes from. If you've got a good bat speed, what that allows you to do is you can stay back a little bit longer. You just create more centrifugal force against the baseball, and that's why you hit a lot of home runs if you got good bat speed. Upton has it, Crawford has it, Longoria has it. I was watching their backup catcher hit yesterday, Michael Hernandez, and he's got a very quick bat.
Richmond checking first, comes home, upstairs.
Well, that's where, you know, the term, the ball jumps off of a guy's bat. That's why you hear that when guys have that quick bat like that. If I was a scout and I was watching young kids, that would be the first thing that I would look for. What kind of bat speed does he have?
Got Upton. Breaking pitch for strike 3. 5th strikeout for Scott Richmond. Brings up Carl Crawford. Took Richmond out in the 3rd.
That's got to wear on pitchers, doesn't it? When you face a guy like Upton at the top of the lineup and you dispose of him, you put him away with a strikeout, you say, okay, let's work on the next guy. And here comes Carl Crawford. His next double will give him a franchise record in 8 different categories for the Rays. Before things are all said and done, he's going to lead pretty much everything by the time he leaves this organization. He's been signed to a long-term contract a few years ago.
He's Mr. Ray. He's been around the longest.
Drafted by the team, developed by their minor league system. came up to the big leagues. I think he's their first true superstar that they've produced. They've signed some free agents that we've talked about, but the first real guy that really you associate with an organization. I think he's a great player.
Richmond staying away from him here in this at bat. 3-0. Down the middle. Not bad for a guy who didn't really love baseball to begin with. He was a football and basketball guy. His heroes Warren Moon and Hakeem Olajuwon growing up in Houston. He was offered a football scholarship at the University of Nebraska to play quarterback, a basketball scholarship at UCLA to play point guard. And a hitter's count. Overbay makes the out, and they get 2. That's the way to turn it. Richmond gets out of another inning. Some more sparkling D from the Blue Jays. Back of his uniform, Jake Eliopoulos from Newmarket, just north of Toronto, was drafted 68th overall by the Toronto Blue Jays. He's throwing tonight for Cedal Gaston, and J.P. Ricciardi has not been signed yet. 18-year-old left-hander plays in the Inter-County League with the Brantford Red Sox. Baseball Canada Junior program, and former student at Sacred Heart Catholic High School in Newmarket. One of the many Canadians, John Lalonde, J.P. Ricciardi, and the Blue Jays scouting staff.
They were all out there watching him this afternoon. One of the things that I noticed from him, he's got a nice loose arm. Got some good size on him. He'll fill out. So maybe we'll see him in a few years.
Russ Adams, former first rounder for the Blue Jays. Then Raul Chavez, and then Marco Scudero. Jays down 2-1 in the 5th. I don't know about you, Tabby, but I get a feeling tonight if the Blue Jays can get some hits going here, get a couple of runs, this game has a different tenor than last night. The Rays came out and were running and gunning on Roy Halladay, and they don't seem to be doing that. Scott Richmond doing a much more effective job tonight of holding runners.
Shutting down the running game, and Garza's not as sharp as Neiman was in last night's game. And he's not as sharp as he was in the games that he pitched here the last couple of years. This is his 4th career start and appearance versus the Blue Jays. Last year he made 5 starts against them and his ERA was 0.47. His first big league shutout was right here at Rogers Center when he beat Halladay. But through the first 4 innings of this game, Blackie, I don't feel like he has that great command that he showed last year.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Adams. Got him on the outside corner and struck him out. The 2nd K of the night for Garza.
Yeah, the first one looked like Russ Adams gave up on this curveball. We talked about it, that Garza's got a good one. 8th in the American League in strikeouts coming into this game. With 2 strikes, you just can't give up on that breaking ball. You got to watch it all the way into the glove. Just a good pitch right there from Matt Garza.
Now the catcher tonight for the Blue Jays, Chavez. Chavez was not part of the Blue Jay plans at the beginning of the season. They had Michael Barrett, who got hurt, of course. And Chavez assumed the role. Rod Barajas, who he used the razor, by the way, recently. Got rid of that beard.
Chavez becomes an important guy here tonight as he hits that ball on the ground.
Oh, what a play by Aybar. Can he get him? Oh my, what a throw. On his knees, Willie Aybar. Chavez not exactly a sprinter.
2 of the better fielding teams in the American League right here. Good speed, good foot speed, quick hands, and an accurate arm. That is about the 4th time today that we have seen the infielders for the Rays use the carpet. A 1-hop throw over to first base to record an out.
Again, a guy who, like Zobrist, can play all over the infield. Aybar last night was at second base. Scudero now. We have seen some D around here lately. Man.
From both teams. From the opposition and by the Blue Jays. Highlight film.
From a lot of players. Last year we saw, the last couple of seasons, Johnny McDonald usually just filled up the highlight reel. Now it's from everybody.
That's got to give pitchers confidence when you have infielders like that making great plays. They're on their toes. They're getting great jumps on balls. They're making plays. As a pitcher, you got to say, all right, here it is. Here's my fastball. Go ahead and hit it because I've got that much confidence in my defense.
Scudero reached on a walk in the 3rd. And he's done, Pat, really what is asked of a leadoff hitter. One-two pitch with 2 away.
not going to swing at that. All season long, I haven't seen him swing at balls like that in the dirt. He has been so consistent, Marco Scutaro, with his approach at the plate. His idea of what he wants to do.
Foul down the line.
He's got one of the best percentages of pitches seen in the American League. And when you talk about what you want from your leadoff hitter, that's the first thing. You want to see him with a high on-base percentage, and you want to see him see a lot of pitches and have good strike zone knowledge. Marco has more walks than strikeouts this year. Doesn't even offer at that overhand curveball.
As we said, he does what leadoff guys, table setters do. They get to first base. 141 times this season he's been able to reach base by a hit, walk, or a hit by pitch. That's first in the American League, third in the majors.
And another thing that good leadoff batters do, Blackie, is they foul off tough pitches. 3-2 breaking balls on the black, and he's able to just kind of like flick him into the stands and stay alive for another pitch.
Makes you wonder why it didn't happen sooner in the organization with Marco Scutaro.
Sometimes you get that label, and you're labeled as a utility infielder, and you don't get your chance. Great at bat.
There he goes. What an at bat.
Yeah. You get that label, and you have to find somebody, a manager who is confident in you, and they're going to throw you out there no matter what happens. And Zito's been rewarded by a great season for Marco.
What a great at bat. Joe Madden looking concerned a little bit now as well. I mean, he made Garza burn a lot of pitches there. Brings up Aaron Hill.
I think like Joe Madden was shaking his head. His pitcher was ahead of Marco Scutaro, ball at 2 strikes, and then lost him. You never want to see the other team's best home run hitter come up in a 1-run game.
And he is a likable guy, isn't he, Joe Madden?
He's fantastic. Smart. Great personality. Knows the game. Grew up in the Los Angeles Angels organization. Tampa hired him away from LA, and they play the game a lot like the way the Angels do. Aggressive in all facets of the game. Aggressive with the bat, aggressive on the bases. Make your pitchers throw strikes.
Lined into the gap. Upton gets there. Scutaro gets to third base, and Aaron Hill has a double. Tell you what, the speed of that center fielder saved the run.
Just saved him a run momentarily. I thought Scutaro had a chance because it looked like Upton bobbled the ball just for a second. Aaron Hill smokes a ball into the gap, and it looks like it's going to go all the way to the wall. But here comes B.J. Upton. He'll cut the ball off, and watch how he bubbles it just a little. And he's going to throw it on the run. Scutaro running hard all the way. He picks up Nick Leyva, who holds him at third. I bet you if it was later in the ball game, maybe the 8th or 9th inning, they take a shot at that. You got to be 100% sure that you got to score that run. They weren't. Good play right there by Upton to save a run.
Well, let's see what happens here. Vernon Wells. Two runners in scoring position. Base hit, and the Blue Jays can have the lead here. High fly ball to center field. And B.J. Upton is there, and two more stranded in scoring position. We've played 5 in Toronto. The Blue Jays trail 2-1. She will represent the Blue Jays at the MLB All-Star Game in St. Louis on July 14th. And congratulations to Melanie Burton. Enjoy it. Nothing like an All-Star Game. Getting a chance to visit there as a fan. We head to the 6th inning. Willie Aybar, switch hitting third baseman. Nice defensive play in that last half inning. 0 for 2 tonight. 2-1 Tampa Bay.
You know, that's going to get lost in the box score. That play by Aybar and the play by B.J. Upton have saved a run for the Rays. People will forget about that when they look at the box score tomorrow, whatever happens in this game. So defense isn't just, you know, how many errors you've made as that ball is rocked to right field by Aybar.
That is a big one. That is gone. Third home run given up by Scott Richmond tonight. The 1, 2, and 3 batters have all now taken him deep. Willie Aybar's 7th of the season.
And coming into this game, Richmond had only given up 12 home runs all season long. Thank goodness they've been all solo shots. Aybar goes out and gets this one. Out over the plate and into the seats. Joe Maddon wanted to get him in and keep him sharp. It's paying off, isn't it?
Here comes the slugger now, Carlos Pena. 0 for 2, followed by Ben Zobrist. Nobody out here in the 6th. 2-run Ray lead. Again, that big shift. Aaron Hill
works to perfection. Just go ahead and just keep hitting that ball right into the shift. Hill was playing him perfectly.
Joe Maddon, who wears number 70, manager. Ben Zobrist now. Said he wears number 70 because nobody else would have it. High number. Those thick-rimmed glasses. Had a lot of Joe Maddon nights. They used to have them in Anaheim and in Tampa Bay. Kind of a fashion statement. Got married in the offseason, said his goal was to, on the honeymoon, to go and try to find anybody with a Tampa Bay Ray jersey or, you know, something on with a logo.
And he didn't just go anywhere.
No, he went to Europe on his honeymoon, and he thought, well, maybe, you know, because of what his team had done, it might have been a, you know, little more interest out there, because I don't think you would have found any Tampa Bay Ray stuff the last few years unless you were in the St. Petersburg area. Different now. They're a popular team, and that's a walk. Sell a lot of merchandise, Evan Longoria's stuff in particular, and he's only a few votes behind Derek Jeter now for the leading vote getter.
Big move up in the latest count.
So Madden goes to Europe, and they're in the Rome train station, as he told us yesterday, and saw a guy with a Tampa Bay Ray cap on. Went over to him, started talking to him.
What are the chances?
And the guy was from Tampa.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? What Madden said, he says, I gotta get that guy down to a game here. Got to bring him down. I got to get him some tickets. Chavez to first. Safely back is Zobrist.
You got to work at this if you're going to try and pick guys out. Chavez with very quick feet and a very quick release. Just keeping that base runner honest over there. Zobrist has 8 stolen bases this year. He's only been caught twice.
One strike pitch coming to Pat Burrell. Designated hitter for the Rays. Breaking pitch is fouled. That guy's happy.
Is he wearing a Mets jersey? David Wright?
Right.
Nice.
Boy,
where'd he come
going
from?
Home. He's got his ball. He's going home. He's a Mets fan. There he goes. See, he's smart, though. You know, very smart. Go hang around those ball boys down the line. You might get one. The 0-2 on the corner and struck him out.
The pitch that was working for Scott Richmond when he struck out 11 Phillies was the curveball. He's had a pretty decent curveball tonight, and he's piled up some strikeouts. That's number 6.
Once again brings up Gabe Gross. Ground out, strikeout. Oh, there. He's got a Jays hat, Mets jersey, and he's got a souvenir baseball now. And also a cameo appearance on the broadcast.
And happy.
And happy.
Yeah, that's great to see, isn't it?
Great to see the kids. And that's one of the great things about this time of year when the kids are out of school now and have a few more day games. In fact, the Blue Jays, beginning tomorrow, will play 5 straight games during the day.
Unheard of. Getaway day tomorrow for Tampa, and then 4 day games in New York over the July 4th weekend.
Did happen once before, but a long time ago, 1997 for the Blue Jays when that happened. But you know what? It's a sport that was made to be played in the sun.
Sure.
Thank goodness for lights. There's nothing like a nice night for baseball, but nothing like a sun-splashed afternoon. Fans trying to get this team back in it. Just seem to be a bit of a dispirited bunch lately.
Losing will do that to you. You know, you lose a couple of ball games, you can get down, and you got to get right back out there, and you've got to just grind it. These are the dog days right here. When it gets warm, your team might not be doing as well as you would hope. You might not be doing as well as you hope, but you got to get out there and you just got to grind it. That guy certainly does.
Oh, yeah, every time. Tiger-like focus. Blue Jays happy to have him back. Suffered the loss last night. 3 balls, no strikes. To Gabe Gross. Zobrist still at first. And down he will go to first base.
Well,
I think that bullpen's going to get active soon.
Yeah, that's one of the things that has not happened to Scott Richmond over his last few starts. He had 1 walk in 8 innings versus the Phillies and 2 walks in 7 innings against Cincinnati. Those were his last 2 starts. He had a couple of walks in the 2nd inning that didn't hurt him in this game. 2 more here, another one in the 5th, so he's had 5 walks in 6 innings. That wasn't a concern coming into this game.
And here they go. Jesse Carlson's up. Big left-handed bats in this Tampa Bay lineup, and a few switch hitters as well. Jason Bartlett, 2 on, 2 away. Gets him swinging on the first pitch. For the most part, Richmond has done a very effective job of getting out of trouble with men in scoring position. It's those solo home runs that have stung him here tonight.
Yeah, 2nd inning he left a couple of runners. 4th inning he left a runner. He walked, but then the double play last inning helped him out. A couple of runners on here via the walk. And he's got a tough guy at the plate in Bartlett. Tough meaning that he makes the most of his base hits. He's got 37 RBIs on 79 hits. He hits really well when there are runners in scoring position.
Way ahead of him here. Try to get him to fish. Wants it downstairs, says Chavez. Got him. Gets out of the jam again. But another solo home run, the 3rd of the night. Willie Aybar taking him deep. Tampa Bay leads 3-1 as Scott Rowland will lead off in a moment at the Rogers Center. Doubleheaders, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, from Ivor Wynn and then to McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Rematch of the Grey Cup, Montreal and the Stampeders. It's all tomorrow. Canada Day means the start of the CFL season on TSN. So we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Scott Rowland, Adam Lind, and Lyle Overbay due up for the Blue Jays here who trail by 2 runs. Rolen extended his hitting streak to 18 games back in the 2nd inning, also scored later.
They have got to figure out Matt Garza. He's still throwing really hard.
Well, the Rays and the Jays, I'm sure, are scoreboard watching tonight, and I know it's the last day of June, but trying to keep pace. Boston leading big tonight in Baltimore, 9-1. John Smoltz tonight for the Red Sox, looking for his first win. Kevin Youkilis has home run 14. Jacoby Ellsbury home run number 5. So they're all over the Orioles, and the Yankees lead Seattle 2-1 in the top of the 3rd. Another pop-up. And Zobrist with that second baseman's glove. Many gloves, as we talked about him earlier. It's the smallest glove you've seen from an infielder.
That has to be Joe Morgan's glove when he was playing. The great Hall of Fame second baseman for the Reds. At least that's what I remember him from. About the size of my hand. He said he wanted to have a glove that was just a little bit bigger than his hand so he could really control the ball in and out of his glove.
Adam Lind, base hit, also lined out to Carlos Pena. A lot of young players out there, a lot of coaches of young players. What do you recommend to young players when they're getting into the game? What kind of glove they should use as far as size goes?
I think for an infielder, the smaller the better. So much of playing the infield is keeping your eyes on the ball and watching it go into your glove. And then there's the transfer that's so important. Transfer from the glove to your hand. I think the smaller the better. I used to have a practice glove that was no bigger than my hand, and you would use that to work on softening your hands, making sure that you caress the baseball on any ground ball.
You got to work that glove in. Ben Zobrist knows about working the glove in. Look at the dirt on him tonight too. And different ways to work gloves in too. Some guys, tie the baseball up. Kids tie it up. Some use oils to lubricate the glove.
I've seen guys dunk them in barrels of water. Put soft soap on it.
I've heard of guys microwaving it. Microwaving the glove. Putting it in. I'm not sure if that worked or not. Hopefully with no metal.
The best way? Just get out there and
play baseball.
It takes about a whole spring training to break in a new glove.
Adam Lind again. Gross will play it off the wall, and Lind has to hurry. And he's out. What a play by Gabe Gross.
Well, we told you that this outfield is quick. They've got good arms, and they've got accurate arms. Gabe Gross, the former quarterback, shows off that right arm. Adam Lind has hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. Now this is his 2nd hit. Gross plays the ball off the wall, comes right back to him. Watch how he sets his feet, and a good strong throw and a good decoy by the shortstop, Jason Bartlett. Just standing there, kind of decoying Adam Lind, thinking that there's going to be no playing at the last second. Reach up, grab the ball, and make the tag.
Gabe Gross, former first-rounder, Toronto Blue Jays. Jason Bartlett with a decoy, a former quarterback at Auburn University. Lyle Overbay. That was hitting the receiver in the end zone.
Yeah. A little curl pattern right there.
Just don't bounce him. What a throw. So 0-2 to Overbay, and Blue Jays again baffled here tonight by Tampa pitching. Last night, Jeff Neiman. Tonight, Matt Garza. Down goes Overbay on strikes. Only the third strikeout tonight. But Garza continues to spin magic in Toronto. 3-1 after 6. Reunion in August with all of the old 92 and 93 Blue Jay world champions. And I know every time you talk about that home run, your eyes sparkle a little bit.
You know what? I think it is the biggest home run hit in Blue Jay history.
I agree with you.
You know, and I'll tell you why I think that. It was a home run that I think symbolized that the Blue Jays have arrived, that they could win the big game. That was the first time that they would come back, win a big series, win against good teams, and get into the World Series.
It got them to the World Series. You don't get to the World Series, you don't have Ed Sprague hit an equally important home run in that World Series that you were part of. And if you don't win that World Series, you might not be back in 1993, and Joe Carter doesn't touch them all. So everything happened in progression.
Yeah, those home runs were big, but I think, you know, and there's other home runs in Blue Jay history that were big. But I think that home run by Aybar just said, we have arrived and we have taken it to the next level.
Deanna Navarro, first out here in the 7th inning. Blue Jays need some more of this D. Keep the ball in the park here. And the bullpen up. Jesse Carlson still pitching, warming up. Scott Richmond will face a guy who took him deep in the first pitch of the ball game, B.J. Upton, and then Carl Crawford, who hit a home run off of him in the 3rd.
B.J. Upton came up as a shortstop. That just didn't work out for him. They got Ozzie Smith to work with him in the minor leagues. That didn't work out. They did move him over to second base, and we saw him a few years ago at second, and I thought that was going to be the position. He was going to be a power-hitting second baseman. But that didn't work out for him, and they put him out in center field, and he has just taken to it. He looks so smooth out there, so comfortable. Doesn't have to worry about everything that you have to do in the middle of the diamond as an infielder. Just go out there, play good defense, and just think about hitting.
Up the middle, broken bat. Scuderos scoops and throws. Two away, Carl Crawford. Crawford hit his 8th home run back in the 3rd inning. Struck out tonight. Also hit into a double play in the 5th.
Numbers don't lie. He's off to a good series here as Crawford. Watch this one, where it ends up.
Okay, so these two girls get the ball now. Here, folks. Show you something in a second, and it's a good lesson to learn when you go to the ballpark, particularly when you bring a date. Don't leave your date during an inning. They got the ball, the girls got the ball, and then here come the guys who went to get a couple beverages and realized, oh man, good for them.
Which one would you rather have?
There you go.
The 2 beers or the ball?
It's priceless. Ball and 2 strikes to Carl Crawford. After the stretch, Alex Rios, Russ Adams, Raul Chavez. Up the middle again. Scudero has to hurry, and there's something that has not happened very often.
Well, that's what speed will do, Blackie. It'll make you do things that you don't normally do. He's got to go so quick. He knows that Crawford is scooting down that line quickly, so he's got to come in with one motion. There's the transfer. It's not there. Crawford leads this team in infield singles with 17. Make it 18 now. I don't know if he gets him, even if he makes the play. I mean, that's how fast Crawford is.
Willie Aybar hit a home run off of Richmond in the 6th. All the home runs tonight, solo shots.
Brian Butterfield was telling me before the game that he really feels that Scott Richmond can really shut down a good running game. He does a good job of holding the ball, varying his motions and varying his looks over at the bases, making it tough for the runner to gauge and get a good feel for when he's going home. You add Raul Chavez, who's done a great job this year throwing out base runners, about 42%. If Carl Crawford is going to steal a base, he's going to earn it against these two.
Aybar calls time. One of the reasons it has been different tonight is that Crawford and Upton have not been on base. They just trotted around them. Chavez.
It's a great number right there, 8 of 19.
There goes Crawford. Here's the throw down, and he is out. Kind of stumbled a little bit out of the gate. Chavez guns Carl Crawford down. Big one. They might need that in a big way. Stretch time at Rogers Center. Alex Rios.
Good pitching on both ends, the Rays and the Jays. The home run has come through again for Tampa Bay. Solo home runs in the first, third, and the sixth inning. The difference in this game.
Alex Rios, who had a base hit in the second, had a ground out in the fourth. His third at bat now against Matt Garza, who works into the seventh. Blue Jays down 2. Lost the opener of this series last night. Roy Halladay took the loss. 4-2 win for the Rays. Close to 100 pitches now from Garza in the game.
Garza's a big, strong pitcher. He can go deep into ball games. He has some of the highest pitch count games that the Rays have had this year. He had a game back in May against Cleveland when he threw 120 pitches.
Up the middle, Zobrist on the hop. Makes the play to first. Here's Russ Adams, also an 0 for 2 night. Again, just 6 hits for the Blue Jays so far.
They lean on their starters, don't they, the Tampa Bay Rays?
They lean on them. And then when the bullpen comes in, they support them.
They'll let them go deep. Ball on the ground to the right side. Zobrist up and over to first base. Last time out, Garza threw 117 pitches. He's had a couple of games of 116, so they like to air them out. What I like about the starting rotation for Tampa is they've got guys who throw hard. They've got good balance between left and right. They've got some soft tossers, whatever it takes. They'll let Matt Garza go as long as he needs to.
Raul Chavez now showed off that arm in that last half inning, gunning down Carl Crawford, the American League steals leader. Chavez with a base hit. Zobrist almost got that. He almost pulled an Aaron Hill.
Maybe he should have had his outfielder's glove on.
Yeah, there you go.
A little bit bigger than that middle infield glove, because he didn't miss that one by much. Ball hit hard by Chavez. Times it just right, but it's over his glove.
Wow. Just over the webbing. Aaron Hill made a snag like that last night. So the Blue Jays maybe can rally here with 2 away. Chavez on first. Marco Scutaro at the dish. 0 for 1 with 2 walks. He has really battled Matt Garza. He's had to throw a lot of pitches to Scutaro tonight.
Picked up the curveball from Garza all night. Really hasn't offered at it. Garza hasn't thrown it for a strike to Marco Scutaro.
Still bringing the heat, 93 miles an hour.
Grant Balfour gets up now, the big hard-throwing right-hander for the Rays. Little cat-and-mouse game going on between Pena and Chavez over at first. They are not going to hold on Chavez, but they don't want to give up a big hole on the right side. Watch Pena sit behind him, duck behind him, and then go out and play his position.
Two balls, one strike, two away. 2-run Tampa Bay lead here in the 7th. Grounded foul again. Evens the count. Aaron Hill hoping for a chance here. Rays come into tonight on a 6-game win streak. They've won 8 of their last 9. Season high, 8 games over 500. Once again, floated high into the air, and B.J. Upton is there for the final out. We head to the 8th inning. The defending American League champions still ahead, and Scott Richmond looks like he's done.
That was back in the 6th inning, a leadoff home run. And that's where we sit, 3-1. We head into the 8th inning, but let's take a look at Scott Richmond's line. A season-high 5 walks were really his undoing. That ran that pitch count up there. He also struck out 7 and gave up 6 hits. So he departs. Cito dips into his bullpen, and here comes Jesse Carlson for the 38th time, which is tied for the most in the American League. Numbers are starting to get more on the positive side for Carlson. Last pitch 3 days ago against Philadelphia had a scoreless inning. Thing for him is if he can get that ball out in front and get a good torque on that breaking ball. It seemed like he has that back in that last outing, what we saw.
So Willie Aybar is the last batter in that 7th inning. So we begin the 8th. Goes to the other side of the batter's box, a switch hitter. He was in the batter's box when Carl Crawford was caught stealing. Aybar, Carlos Pena, and Ben Zobrist. Another base hit for Willie Aybar. He's had a great night. Home run, a base hit. Couple of key defensive plays at third base. Not bad for a guy filling in for an all-star at third base who gets the night off in Evan Longoria.
Very useful player. You can play him anywhere in the infield. He can swing the bat. He can steal your base. It's a valuable type of player for any championship team.
Carlos Pena.
Carlos Pena, there is a huge shift on. We've talked about that. Tough left-hander on the mound. He has bunted in this situation this year. He has 3 bunt hits this year.
If he lays a bunt down the third baseline, he could practically walk to first. Look at that. That's as shifty as you will get.
And, you know, an Aybar might be able to go to third.
This might change the strategy a little bit for the Blue Jays now after showing bunt.
I don't think they pull around. I think they start moving back. Here comes Scott Rowland, the third baseman. If he sacrifices and puts it down the third base line, just to get the out was going to be hard. But Aybar might even go all the way to third.
Good point. Chavez will come out and chat.
He's giving himself up, so you got to throw a strike. Now, Joe Maddon might change up right here and let his big slugger swing away. Give him one shot trying to go deep.
He's done that 23 times this year. Down the line it goes. Rios. Stop sign there at third. Just like that. 2 runners in scoring position.
Yeah, he indeed just let him go. Once it got to 2-0, you know that Carlson has to throw him a strike, and he's going to probably throw him a fastball. You don't want to have to take the bat out of the hands of your big slugger, so you let him swing away. He does just that and hits it by Overbay. Comes off the bag, and that ball's got to be hit hard to get it by Overbay.
Just a dead pull hitter.
Yeah.
So Pena at second base. Aybar at third. Nobody out. Ben Zobrist, also a switch hitter. Field creeps in a little. Good pitch from Carlson. Trouble here again for the Blue Jays in this 8th inning. It's up to Jesse Carlson to get them out. Pat Burrell on deck.
This is a big out right here. If Carlson can get Zobrist without any of the runners advancing, then they can go ahead and walk Burrell and face the left-hander Gross. We'll probably see a pinch hitter for Gross then. So this is a big out right here. A pop-up, a strikeout, a ground ball right to one of the infielders where the runners can't advance. That's what the Blue Jays are looking for right here.
Ball and 2 strikes. Oh, that was so close. You had your hand in the air.
I was ready to punch him out.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
He fed him breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. Now has him set up with a fastball. But it's called low by home plate umpire Mike Estabrook.
Just got under it and hooked it foul into the seats. So a lot of options here depending on what Zobrist does, what Carlson does. Blue Jays still very much in this ball game, but a couple more runs added on here. That Tampa Bay bullpen will be very difficult. 2. Zobrist 1 for 1 tonight with 2 walks. Up the middle, line drive. That will score Aybar. So Zobrist does the job.
Tampa has done a good job hitting with 2 strikes. You know, they came into this series with the second best 2-strike average in all of baseball in the American League behind Toronto. That's why the whole team is up and giving high five to Ben Zobrist. He was down 0-2, fought off a couple of tough pitches, and then got the sacrifice fly for a big run.
Cito makes the walk out. Will take the ball away from Jesse Carlson. Pitching change here. Pat Burrell due up for the Rays. Back at Rogers Center, where Cito Gaston came out, and it looked for a moment like he was going to go to that bullpen. Did not. Talked to Jesse Carlson, had a few words for home plate umpire Mike Estabrook, and in fact came back to the dugout, intentionally walked Pat Burrell.
There'll probably be a change now. He's just waiting for Evan Longoria to be announced into the game, and there he is. He's announced, and now he's going to go make his change now, bring in Brandon Leake. With first base open, you knew they were going to walk Burrell to try to set up this spot. We'll clean it.
powered by Rogers high-speed internet. The fastest and most reliable, period. Visit Rogers.com/fastest internet. Brandon League in now. Evan Longoria also into the ball game to face the flamethrower. First pitch swinging, high fly ball. Alex Rios tracking, makes the out, and the runner advances to third. So 2 away. 4-1 game. Tampa Bay adding a little insurance here.
Big situation, I think, for League right here. First and second. Longoria pinch hitting. He disposes of him with that fly ball to right field, but he's not out of the woods yet. 32nd time that Brandon has been into a game. He is tied for first on the club with 5 holds.
The shortstop, Jason Bartlett. A couple of defensive gems tonight and also a double back in the second inning.
He's really been a guy who's kind of flown under the radar the last couple of years, but if you are in baseball, you know what a good baseball player this guy is. He has put up some pretty good numbers this season. .423 batting average with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, which ranks first in the American League. He's had 10 3-hit games, which is tied for first in the American League.
Struck him out. League does the job, gets Bartlett. Now the Blue Jays hitters have to get to work. Visited our box a few moments ago. There he is. He wanted to get his sign on the air. Wave, Matthew. Say hello to Canada. There you go. Way to go, buddy. Guest of the Blue Jays tonight. Big Blue Jay fan. I like the sign. Here we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Aaron Hill, Vernon Wells, Scott Rowland. Time is now for the Blue Jays. Down 3 runs.
Yeah, maybe Matt Garza is getting a little tired. This is where you want to strike right now. Get a couple of guys on before Joe Madden has a chance to get that bullpen warm.
Garza up to 107 pitches.
He is responsible for the 5 highest pitch counts by a Rays pitcher this year, so this is nothing new for Matt Garza.
2-0. And that strike zone is tight tonight.
It's small.
How about this ERA for Garza against the Blue Jays dating back to last year?
Crazy good. Last year, under a half a run a game. Last year alone, his ERA lifetime in the 6 starts that he has had against the Jays, under 2. Remember, he made his big league debut against Toronto. Just lasted 2 2/3 innings and gave up 7 runs.
Aaron Hill draws the walk. That's what the Blue Jays need. Joe Madden stroll out now. Kind of funny how Garza made his debut, big league debut against Toronto. Scott Richmond made his big league debut against Tampa Bay last year. Garza will be out of this ball game. Joe Madden will go to his very efficient bullpen. When we come back, Vernon Wells.
Not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership.
Hey, Mr. Submarine Man into the game. Matt Garza's out.
He goes 7+1 batter in the 8th inning, gives up 7 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He will give way to the Submariner. You're absolutely right, Rod. From way down under, Chad Bradford. Opponents hitting .375 against Bradford. But last year, after they picked him up, had the highest ground ball to fly ball ratio of any reliever in baseball. 4-to-1. 4 ground balls to 1 fly ball last season, and that's what the Rays are looking for right now from Bradford. The ground ball off the bat of Vernon Wells.
Just came off the disabled list last Friday, did Chad Bradford. Vernon Wells takes a look at the first one. A strike. Wells 6 for 17 lifetime against Chad Bradford.
You got to really make him get that ball up. When you come from down under like that, you got to see the ball up.
And up the middle. The averages play out. Tying run will come to the plate. Scott Rowland.
This one looked like it went right between the wickets, and it certainly does, right under the glove of Bradford. And once it got by him, no chance for Zobrist or Bartlett to get the ball. Jays are in business now. First two get on here in the 8th inning.
Rowland has scored the Blue Jays' only run. Kept his hit streak alive back in the 2nd inning. 18 games and counting. Singled in that 2nd inning. Scored later. Two on, nobody out. First pitch swinging, and B.J. Upton. Aaron Hill tagging and going. The throw, and Hill head first.
Good arm out in center field from Upton. He's got 4 outfield assists. I don't think he anticipated Hill tagging up, being down by 3 runs, and he caught that ball flat-footed. But Hill heads up, and a good, hard, aggressive slide into third base, and now he can score on a long fly ball.
Those caps and jerseys are available now. Get them at the Jays Shop. More details, log on to jaysshop.ca. Canada Day tomorrow. Happy Canada Day on the eve of that. Adam Lind. Runners at the corners, 1 away. Blue Jays need 3, though, Tabby.
When you have a deep bullpen like Tampa Bay has, you can really piece it together as the game goes along. Randy Choate into the game. Great numbers for the left-hander. 4 for 4 in save opportunities. Retired the only batter he faced last night. That was Lyle Overbay to pick up his 4th save. He has retired 19 of the 22 batters he has faced from the left side this year. Lefties just have 1 hit off of him. So with a couple of lefties coming up in Lind and Overbay, Joe Madden can go to his lefty specialist in a big situation here in the 8th inning. Just in case Cito Gaston might want to pinch hit depending on what Adam Lind does for Lyle Overbay, maybe a Kevin Millar, he's got another pitcher, a right-hander warming up in the bullpen. So a lot of pieces out there for Joe Maddon.
Hard one that went foul and bounced back into play.
And that's what Joe was telling us yesterday, that he had a lot of problems when he would come into this ballpark to face the Blue Jays because of all the lefties that they would have in that bullpen.
Well, he was salivating a little bit now, knowing that, you know, Brian Tallett's not there anymore and Scott Downs isn't available, and a little easier for him to, as he called it yesterday, piecing it together. That's what they wanted to do last night against Roy Halladay, and that's kind of been the strategy really for the Rays all season. Ball and 2 strikes to Lind. Adam Lind, 2 base hits here tonight. Was thrown out by Gabe Gross back in the 6th inning, trying to stretch it into a double. By all accounts, most of those are doubles, but Gabe Gross has got a rocket arm.
And Adam Lind hasn't had problems against lefties this year. Maddon has a lot of respect for Lind as a hitter. That's why he's brought in a specialist here in the 8th inning.
But he strikes him out. Big sweeping pitch that Lind goes chasing. And another lefty here coming to the plate, Lyle Overbay.
Sometimes the games are saved in the 7th inning, sometimes in the 8th inning, and this is a big part of the game right here. Just a tough pitch from the lefty. Right on the outside black to get Lind.
0 for night for Lyle Overbay. He represents the tying run here in the 8th inning. Blue Jays have lost 3 in a row. Just 4 games over 500, and again began the night 2 games back of 3rd place Tampa in the AL East. Boston still taking it to Baltimore, 9-1. Mike Lowell placed on the DL today. The Yankees now tied with Seattle 3-3. That's in the 5th. 9-1 Boston over Baltimore in the 5th. The 0-2 outside, just missing. By the way, the Yankees today picked up a familiar face.
Eric Hinsky.
Former Blue Jay, American League Rookie of the Year. He's followed teams to the World Series, hasn't he?
Yeah, Boston a couple of years ago, Tampa last year. Yankees pick up a veteran left-handed bat.
1-2 and popped out, and another pop out. Carl Crawford. Blue Jays tonight 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position as we head to dating back to last season again, keeping the Blue Jays off the board.
We've seen him sharper last year. This time, though, he is in line for the win. Made pitches when he had to. Turned it over to the bullpen, and he's just given up the 1 run in the 7+ innings.
Deanna Navarro. Brandon League still working for the Blue Jays. Then the top of the order for Tampa Bay, B.J. Upton and Carl Crawford. If you're just joining us, 3 of the runs the Rays scored tonight came via the long ball. Solo home runs off of Scott Richmond. The first pitch of the evening. And again, for the second straight night, the Blue Jays have not been able to string any offense together.
They've gotten a hit in every inning but the first and the fourth. They've left 8 runners through 8 innings. So that's been the problem, getting that run in when they've gotten to second or third base.
Again, carbon copy nights. It was 4-1 last night, 4-1 tonight. Roy Halladay taking the loss last night. Two pitch. Lyle Overbay will take it himself. Here's Upton, who 3 hours ago greeted Scott Richmond with a long ball. Took him out.
He's played some good defense out in center field. Cut that 1 ball off from Aaron Hill. It saved a run. That would look huge right now. The Rays have played some good defense. They've made their share of errors, but they've played good defense, plays that won't really show up in the box score.
Willie Aybar's play was a huge one.
That was right before the walk to Scudero and the double by Hill. He doesn't make that play, you're looking at a big inning for the Jays, and maybe this game is a little bit different.
Not sure Chavez legs out a double out of that, but at least they're...
Yeah, it'd be a single. Then a walk and a double. They came away with nothing.
Brandon League walks B.J. Upton here in the 9th inning. Time now for a Fast Fact, brought to you by Rogers, Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. Carl Crawford leading the majors with 40 steals this season. That's more than the totals for 8 teams.
That's a weapon.
Yeah, that is. And he has been not only on the base paths, but
rotation. They have moved him into the pen just for the next couple of days, and he comes into a situation here having to face Carl Crawford. This is his first time ever coming out of the bullpen in his career. Now it does a couple of things. It puts a left-on-left matchup against Carl Crawford, but it also makes it tough for B.J. Upton to try and steal. His first movement, Upton's, was back to first base on Cecil's first move. He's never seen him. You saw that quick shot of Steve Henderson, the hitting coach for the Tampa Bay Rays, right before we went to break, getting out the charts and trying to get a scouting report on Brett Cecil. They've never faced him before. There's Hindu.
Speedy Upton trying to get himself into scoring position. 29 stolen bases on the year.
Well, they like to run early in the count. One of the things that Upton's doing right now is getting a very aggressive lead over at first base.
Crawford, line drive. Second out.
Well, running is such a big part of their game. We've talked about the home runs, but stealing bases and using their great team speed that they have is such a big part of it, and it shows up in their numbers. There's Crawford, first in the American League in 40 steals. He's been thrown out 7 times. B.J. Upton, 29 steals. He's third in the American League, and throwing Jason Bartlett, 17 stolen bases. So it's a big part of their game. One of the reasons why they lead the American League in runs scored.
Willie Aybar. Home run, base hit, 2 runs scored, and an RBI tonight for him. Switch hitter, and plus one of the key defensive plays, as we mentioned, when he got Raul Chavez back in the 5th inning.
When you bring guys off the bench, you just want them to do something to help you win a ball game. You just mentioned all the things that Aybar has done over the last couple of days to help them win games.
It's interesting watching Upton. Watched him last night when he was on the base paths. He kind of swivels those hips a little bit. Takes a little turn towards second. Hard guy to gauge.
He really gets a good jump with that front side. Really opened up.
Thought he was going there.
Good base stealers really open up that front side to give them just a little bit of an extra edge to get a good jump. Watch his right foot. See how open he is? He's almost kind of leaning like a starter in a starter's block, a sprinter.
He had a stolen base last night.
And that looked like a sprinter kind of getting ready on a 100-yard dash.
Bottom of the order due up for the Blue Jays if they can end the inning here into the bottom of the 9th. Brett Cecil into the game. Starter turned reliever for this game. That's what good base stealers do as well. Threats on base disrupt your rhythm. Make it so difficult.
Allows your hitter, maybe he gets an extra fastball. Thinking about trying to get that ball to the plate a little bit quicker. They had him leaning.
Aybar with a base hit. Russ Adams able to backhand that, so 2 on now with 2 away.
Aybar's third base hit tonight. Home run, a couple of singles, keeps the inning going for Carlos Pena. Got a pitch down and ripped it. Good play by Adams. Cut this ball off, or Upton scores easily.
Bringing up the power hitting Carlos Pena. Get a laser beam down the right field line. Obviously with Upton at second base now, no shift on. Pitch there. Cecil roughed up by the Cincinnati Reds 5 days ago. He only went 3 innings, gave up 5 runs. Tough spot for some of these young pitchers of the Blue Jays that were projected to be down the road guys. Thrown into the fire this year because of injuries. The 0-1. Fly ball. Russ Adams has it. So the Rays leave 2 on. Nobody crosses. Like last night, they have a 4-1 lead heading into the 9th. And out. Bottom of the 9th here in Toronto. Toronto Blue Jays as they were 24 hours ago. Down 4-1. Heading into the 9th, and another new pitcher for the Rays.
It basically has become their closer. J.P. Howe takes over. Great opponent's batting average. Great walks to strikeout ratio. He worked in all 3 games over the weekend when the Rays swept the Florida Marlins. And in that series, picked up 2 wins and a save. In all 3 games, here to face the bottom of the order. how good has the Rays bullpen been? When they are ahead after 8 innings, they are 37-1. It's a team that started the year with Troy Percival as their closer. They tried Jason Isringhausen there. A couple of injuries later, J.P. Howell has taken over basically as their closer. I know Grant Balfour has been closing some games for him. We saw Choate 4 for 4. Joe Nelson is 2 for 3. But this is the guy that Madden has called on for the most part.
Out number 1 here in the 9th. Alex Rios. Here's the Boo Birds here. So batting for Russ Adams is Jose Bautista here. Jays down 3 in the 9th. Having lost 3 in a row, the Rays trying to make it 7 straight wins. Last year they won 7 straight around this same time of the year. It's their longest streak of the year. A fabulous start to the season a year ago. Slipped a little bit and picked it right back up.
One of the things I like about Howell is he comes in and he throws strikes. He likes to turn over that pitch. He's got a good curveball that he'll use for strikeouts. When he left the University of Texas, he was their all-time strikeout leader.
Raul Chavez is on deck. Jays trying to do what they did last inning, bring the tying run to the plate at the very least.
Austin.
It's a start.
From 0-2 to 4 straight balls. Good patient at bat right there from Bautista.
Rod Barajas will now bat for Chavez. Given the night off tonight. Now pinch hit here in the 9th inning with 1 away.
Came through with a big pinch hit back in Philadelphia. That bomb he hit to center field, which was a game winner. He has been the Blue Jays' best pinch hitter this year. He's only had a couple of at-bats, but he has 2 hits in that big home run. And he doesn't ground into double play.
Not once this year, as a matter of fact. Watches strike 1. Barajas, who hasn't been in the game tonight. A few words. He's been watching on the bench, I'm sure. And I think both sides would agree that the strike zone is rather minuscule. Goes the other way. That's out number 2. Gabe Kapler out in right field now. So the Blue Jays once again down to their final out. Marco Scutaro. If he can get on, Aaron Hill on deck would represent the tying run.
You know, in this situation, that's all you're hoping for right now. You're down to your last out. You just want to get a chance and bring your best home run hitter up there.
But Willie Aybar does it again. A game over. Last night 4-1, tonight 4-1. The Tampa Bay Rays, the hottest team in baseball right now. 7 straight wins. B.J. Upton, Carl Crawford, Willie Aybar, all home runs here tonight off of Scott Richmond.
Here is tonight's turning point.